Hey guys, yesterday I put out a video that I made a couple years ago about my experience with being a heroin addict. But let's not be PC about it. I was a junkie. And if someone's on heroin or they're doing those painkillers or they're doing fentanyl, guess what? They're junkies. Let's not be PC about it. I got a message yesterday from someone that said they live with a junkie. And that's really hard. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Let me tell you from my point of view, when I was a junkie, how I treated the people I lived with. See, when you're a junkie, all you see is a drug. It changes the chemicals in your brain, it changes everything. And before your family is a drug. Before your work is a drug. Before anything is a drug. Okay? This doesn't happen with everything, but it does happen with heroin, and I know it happens with cocaine because I did that too. I used to shoot it, snort it, and smoke it. And we need to talk about this because it's a community problem. I've seen junkies all over the place here in Everett. And you can recognize them, especially if you were one. You can definitely recognize them. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, my meds. Oh, you don't understand. Let me tell you. Let me give you a chance to understand from my point of view, because I was one, and I'd like to let you know what we do to manipulate you into leaving us alone, so we can just do our drugs and forget about the rest of the world. We want to forget about our family and their issues. We want to forget about our kids. We want to forget about our work. We want to forget about everything. And another thing is, it's a painkiller. So a junkie doesn't like pain, okay? We don't like physical pain. We don't like emotional pain. So when you confront us with it, oh, you start a shit show. What's the matter? You rather do your drugs than take care of your kids? Oh my God! You think I don't love my kids? Oh, we know you love your kids, but you love the drug more. Because if you didn't love the drug more, you wouldn't be fucking doing it. You'd be getting your shit together, going to fucking detox, rehab, halfway house, whatever it takes. If you love your family, you would do that for real. If you're a junkie, you're a junkie. You're a zombie. You're living in hell, and you're taking the rest of your family and your friends with you to a very sad, dark place. That's all there is to it. I told you how I got off it. I had nothing and no one left. I knew that the next day was going to be more of a hustle. I knew that my path of destruction, the tornado that I was making everybody worry about me, causing undue stress and grief to everybody that cared about me. But before I cared about them caring about me, I cared about getting some drugs. That's all there is to it, you know? We don't need to be mean to junkies. Heroin addicts, if you want to be PC. It's an addiction, it's a disease. Yeah, it's a disease. But it's a disease that has plenty of treatment. If you take it, and if you before I get going, I would go to rehab. I've been to many rehabs. I've been going to them for a long time before I quit. And guess what? If you know someone that's been to rehab a bunch of times, you know, a spin dry, 7 days, a month, a couple months, they're not going to quit. Because they know how to play the game. I knew how to play the game. I knew what to tell the counselors. So they give me the medication I wanted so I could go back to my oblivious life in rehab. You know, I would go to therapy and counselors and I would tell them what I thought they wanted to hear so I could get the hell out of rehab and go back to the streets, to the same life I was living, and get back on the drugs. It's very simple. If someone's been in and out of rehab all their life, they just know how to play the game. And if, here's another one. God bless my mother, because she lived with me while I was going through this. All right, God bless her. You know, she had her own issues, but and she's passed away. You know, but she passed away seeing me off of it, and that's all she ever wanted for me. And I love her dearly, and she's one of my angels. If you have someone living with you that is a junkie, guess what? You're sick too. Because the disease doesn't care if you're not doing the drug. The disease cares about destruction, annihilation. The only end to heroin use is death. Screw the jails and the institutions. It's death. All right? That's how it comes, you know. If there's not somebody there to get you to the hospital when you OD, you're dead. And all you're doing every day is killing yourself. Why? Why did I do heroin? Because I didn't want to deal with reality. I didn't want to face the fact I was a friggin' loser. That's what it comes down to. I didn't want to have that emotional pain. I didn't want to take the steps and the work and the soul searching that it takes to get off of it. See, there's plenty of treatment. You just have to go into treatment and use it for what it's there for, to get your life back in order. It's simple as that. I was in and out of rehabs, I don't know how many times. Okay? I don't know how many times I was in and out of rehabs, and I told the counselors what they wanted to hear, so I could get back out on the street and live my wonderful junkie life. And let me tell you about my wonderful junkie life. What happens when you don't have money to pay for the drugs? You hound your friends and your family. You beg. Oh, I need a couple bucks because I need to get new shoes. I need to get something for the kid. I need to do this. I need to do that. You hustle. Because this is what you see first. And then maybe, if you're lucky and not chewing your kneecaps, you see your family and your friends and your work. But that's not usually what happens. We just end up chewing our kneecaps, being in oblivion, and not caring about anything. You see, heroin is an opiate. It's a painkiller. Junkies don't like pain. They don't like mental, emotional, physical pain. Okay? You know what happened to me when I got off? I had mental, physical, and emotional pain and no way to fix it. I had no drugs. I had no money. I had no friends. I had nothing left. And that's what it takes sometimes. To have nothing left, and nobody's gonna sit there and coddle you and tell you it's okay, or you're an addict, so you have to go and you have to be gentle with them. No, you have to be firm with an addict. You have to say, hey, go get some help. And that, in Everett, what we need as a community is, we see a junkie, every time you see one, say, you need to get some help. Okay? Because we can't make excuses for people that are making excuses for their existence being a junkie. We can't. If we have someone that's in our homes, in our families, that we really love, and we see them going through this, we need to get them help. If you have someone that's a junkie that's in your house, you just became sick too. Because everything they're going through, you're going to have going in your head. How can I help them? Another thing I hear a lot of people rambling about is, oh, the government this, the government that. You know, this is a family problem, a society problem. It's not a government problem. The government provides resources as best they can, but they got a million other things to run. They provide resources. That's what they do. It's up to us to get them to the resources. All right? Being a junkie means you're sick. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and most of all, spiritually. You don't think that you're worth anything. You know? You have no self-respect. These are the things that we need to provide people that come out of rehab. All right? And that was a big thing for me. Many times I went into rehab, and some of the times I really wanted to do something about it. But I would come out, and they talk about the stigma, but it's a stigma that's, you know, well deserved. You know, I see these zombies all the time. I recognize them because I was one. They're the Walking Dead. They are. Because what use are they? If you're a junkie, you're kind of useless. I'm sorry. That's it. You know, I wasn't of any use to anybody. If anything, I was a burden to everybody that cared for me. If you're a junkie and you have children, I don't know if you deserve them. Honestly, I don't. You should get your act together and take care of your family. Take care of your kids. Don't make them suffer. Because all you can do is this first, and then maybe if your eyes are open and you're not chewing your kneecaps, maybe you'll do something for them. It's fucking selfish. Okay? Now, for people that have junkies in their lives, you got to tell them, you need to get out and get some help. Because I can't deal with this anymore. If you're living with a junkie, they got to go, man. Because you're suffering and you alone cannot help them. They've already got you. They've already got you under the mix. You're just as sick as them, except for you're not doing the drug. You're just as sick as them. You need help. And there's plenty of programs for people that have to deal with addicts and junkies. There's plenty of programs for that. You need to get yourself to it. Okay? And you need to surround yourself with people that have dealt with this before and have them help you deal with the situation. And a lot of it is you have to let them go. Because if you can't take care of yourself and you're always taking care of them, your life sucks too. That's all there is to it. You know? I can say this because I was one. And I've put so many people through hell. And I was just a sad loser. That's all there is to it. I never thought that I was going to, you know, get off it in 10 years. I've been off of heroin for 10 years. Let's just put it that way. Heroin, crack cocaine, all that stuff. I haven't done for a decade. All right. And I told you in the other video, I went away for 11 months. I did detox. I did rehab, did halfway house, did 3/4 house. Because I was ready to do whatever it took to get back to living. But if you're a heroin addict, all you're doing is you're the living dead. You're a zombie. And the end is death. If you're a heroin addict, life must really suck for you. And I really wish that you would reach out for help. But here's the kicker. When you finally reach out for help, after being through all those spin dries, going away for a week, a month, or whatever, nobody believes you anymore. And that's really tough. And you know why nobody believes a heroin addict? Because they're a junkie. And they've done this to people time and time again. I did. You grow up. Life is so much better without that crap. You know, it's just so much better. The world is yours if you only give up. and just let go and say, listen, God, or even a higher institution or whatever, help me. Okay, I went to rehab and I started using the counselors for what they were there for. I stopped telling them stories and I stopped telling them what I thought they wanted to hear, and I started working on me because I was a junkie because of my pain. All right, I had a lot of stuff that I went through in life. All right, I'll tell you right now, real quick rundown. 2 years old, my father was shot and killed. My mother got drunk too much. I ended up getting taken away from my family. I grew up somewhere else in the suburbs. Okay? And then from there, I ended up being screwed up anyways. I don't know if it was genetics or whatnot, but I was still screwed up because I was born to like some craziness. And I always wanted to know why. Adoption is another thing I want to talk about at a later date because I got a lot of stuff to say about that. But I was back in the system by the time I was 14. So, from 14 until 18, I was DYS kid. I got plenty of excuses for using drugs. I really do. Let's just put it that way. I got plenty of excuses, but no real reason. The reason was that I was a rebellious kid, and I didn't like being told what to do, and I had a problem with authority. Probably still do, but hey. But I fell into this thing, this hole, this pit of despair called heroin addiction, and I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. I was stuck. All right. Now nobody loves a junkie. Nobody wants to go and help them. Nobody wants to, because we'd rather, as a society, ignore them and hope somebody else does the job for us. And then we bitch at the government, whose only job is to provide us resources. And we bitch at the government for not fixing the problem. It's not their job. Their job is to provide resources. It's our job to get the people that we care about that are killing themselves to the resources. How do we do that? How do we get them to the resources? Many times I went to rehab, and it was because I was afraid that I'd have no place to live. I was afraid that a girlfriend, my family didn't want to talk to me anymore. They were just giving me too much crap. Let me go away for a month and then come back and everything will be hunky-dory. And I did that a couple times. And that's not the way it works. The only way it works is when everybody's left you. And your pain cannot be fixed by the drug. Your mental, physical, emotional pain cannot be fixed by the opiate. That's when people do one of two things: kill themselves, get help. And it sucks to be a family member or a friend of somebody that's turned to friggin' heroin, to sit back and watch because we make them suffer too. And we play games and we gaslight. Oh, you're the one with the problem. If I only had like, $50, everything would be okay. You know? What, you don't love me no more? We play games. Because we don't care. We see this first. Maybe we see you after. If we're not passed out or OD'd. I overdosed 5 times. 2 times I was pronounced dead. That didn't stop me. I've been to jail for committing petty crimes to get the drug. That didn't stop me. What stopped me was being alone, crying my eyes out because I was physically sick. Nobody was going to help me. And I felt like nobody cared. I called my mother and told her I was going to end my life. Why? Not because I was going to end my life, but because I wanted her sympathy. And I wanted to share my pain with someone. And God bless her. She's passed long since then. I mean, since then, she's passed. But yeah, at least she got to see me off of the shit. And I love her. She called, have a well-being check done on me. And when the cops came, they found a mess. I ended up going to detox. And well, before that, let's just put it this way. Before that day, here's the picture. An apartment in Eggleston Square. Shitty apartment. Nothing in the fridge. I was getting kicked out. The electric was getting turned off. I had no cable. I'm watching PBS. Celtic Women. I heard a wonderful song that touched me called The Voice. I'm going to put it up just because it was a big thing for me. It touched me. Yeah, it was like God came down and said, hey, come on. From there, I set out on my journey of whatever it takes. I didn't think I could make another day. I had no hustle. And I was looking back. It was a moment of clarity. I was looking back at my life and the pain that I've caused people. And I decided whatever it takes. I didn't want this life anymore. I wanted a new one. I wanted to be normal. I didn't want to be great. I just wanted to be normal. So I took this journey that took me 11 months. You know, it took me 11 months to get my shit together. I mean, I had to go and use these counselors for what they were there for. You know? Detox. Oh, detox was painful. I did a Suboxone taper. Like I said, I don't believe in this year-long crap of taking methadone where you're just trading one drug for another and then meeting other junkies in the line that will sell you pills. I mean, you know what I mean? That's crazy. Oh, I'm sober because I'm doing methadone. No, you're not. You're fucking trading one drug for another. And these drug companies push it because they want you to be on it for a year because it gives them money. I took a Suboxone taper for 1 friggin' week. Big dose to little dose. It still hurt. I still had to take some other meds, but they weren't like Suboxone methadone things. You know, they're the regular stuff they give people detoxing. And then I came off of those shortly thereafter. And it still physically hurt. Creepy crawlies. Aches and pains. But I did it because I didn't want the life that I had. I wanted a life that was normal. You know, I knew I was going to die if I kept on going. And that's what's going to happen to every other junkie you know in your life. They're going to die. All right? And they're going to leave people behind that are broken. Because that's what heroin addiction does. It breaks families and lives. If you're a heroin addict and you have a child, you suck. Get some fucking help. Okay? That's all there is to it. If you're a heroin addict and you're living in your mom's basement, you suck. Get some fucking help. That's all there is to it. All right? I don't like being PC with junkies because I was one, and it was being PC with me that kept me a friggin' junkie. And that's all there is to it. Now, if you see somebody out there, don't be mean, but be firm. Say, hey, you need some help. Now, this lady, at the moment, I don't remember her name. I got her card somewhere. That she's got an office, I believe, down at the fire station. And she helps people that want to get into rehab. And if you're seeing this, go see her. and get into rehab. And don't spin dry for a week, a month, or whatever. Go away for a good amount of time. My attitude when I got off of heroin was, I have screwed up my life for a long time. 1 year out of my life is nothing to fix it. It's nothing. I spent years in the gutter. Spent years being a dirtbag, being a loser. And that's what a junkie is. A loser dirtbag. I was one. I can say it. Now you can say it too. Get some fucking help. What else can I say, man? And if you got a kid or somebody that's suffering, man, don't coddle them. Tell them they need to get out and get some help. Or get out. Because as long as you have a junkie under your roof, you're just as sick as they are. And you need help too. Nobody can fix a junkie by themselves. Nobody. It takes a village. That's always been my attitude. It takes a village. When they're ready, strike when the iron's hot, get them out. Get them into a program. Like I said, the government, you can't tell the government, you can't tell the government or an institution that, oh, hey, this junkie, we need it. Can you fix it for me? No, they can provide, they can provide resources to help you help them. You know, they can provide resources, but they can't be going out and dragnetting every junkie out there. You know, that'll be a waste of time and money. You got to wait until they have one of those moments of clarity like I had, and then provide the path. And here's another thing for society, because I am really pissed that I hear a lot of it. Like, all right, junkies, you got to be firm with, don't be mean, but they're sick fucking people, all right? They're sick. It's a disease. I hear all sorts of negative things by people that have never had to deal with junkies or been on the stuff. And they disgust me. All right? You don't want to let a junkie die because that's a friggin' life. All right? That's all there is to it. All right? I've heard so much negative about this that you don't want them to die. You want them to get help and have a normal life and come back to society. All right? So when someone that's been away at rehab ends up coming back out on the street, you don't shun them. You embrace them. And you help them get a little bit of pride and dignity back. You help them get a job. You help them feel better about themselves. Because you know what? Coming out of rehab back into the world, we are fragile. Very fragile. It takes only one little friggin' excuse to go back to being a member of the living dead. So, I propose this. If you know somebody that's coming out of rehab, go help them. Give them some self-respect. Give them a job. Give them a chance to make a better life for themselves. Because if you shun them, and if you belittle them, or you stigmatize them, you're part of the fucking problem too. And that's all I got to say about it today.